guys, I am alone this week. I'm also broadcasting from home, as you might be able to tell from the dogs. It's been a crazy week with the weather, and we have a new foster puppy. So, yeah, that might happen. Benny, come here. Last time I tried to do one of these from home, the dog ended up jumping on us, and I honestly can't say that's not going to happen again. He seems to want to just bark right now, so that's fun. Hopefully that won't happen the whole time. So earlier this week, I put out a blog post about prepping to buy your first home. So I thought I would just kind of expound on that today. So come here, Benny. Say hello. Say hello to the loving fans. Say hello. Oh no, the other one's coming now. Oh gosh. So number one thing is always going to be get pre-approved. This always kind of feels like the scariest part, especially to first-time buyers. Just kind of laying your finances bare, the potential for sort of what you perceive as rejection. It can be a little scary, a little nerve-wracking. Finances are stressful for a lot of people. So people tend to put it off, but it really is important that that's the first thing you do, because it's going to give you a baseline for your entire search. It's going to let you know, one, are you ready? Can you afford what you want? Is your credit score where it needs to be? And number two, it's gonna let you know what you can afford. You know, you don't want to fall in love with a house that you're not gonna be able to get. And once you have that pre-approval, the sense of relief that you feel is great, because that's the hardest part, and it's done. And so it's gonna be important to find a trusted loan officer to do the pre-approval. They're gonna walk through, you're being so fun, Benny. They're gonna walk through what a payment would look like at a certain price point for you, what the cost of the loan is, so those various fees, title fees, loan fees. Benny, you're crashing the video. Stop it. Taxes, insurance, and all that goes into your payment. It's really not that scary. I'd be happy to give anyone recommendations for loan officers to work with, or just give you a list of what you should kind of have prepared to look forward to that pre-approval. I usually recommend people go with a lender that's dedicated to mortgage lending over a larger bank. Just in my experience, I've found that the smaller lenders that are kind of dedicated to that mortgage world, you get a better quality of service, a speed, they understand the industry. Sometimes with those really large banks, your loan can get tied up in bureaucracy and you're more of a number. So that's just my experience. I usually recommend people towards those smaller lenders. And then, you know, a lot of people may be looking to buy their first house, but maybe you know you have certain credit issues going on and it's just not feasible this year or even maybe next year. Don't hesitate to talk to a mortgage professional if you're in that position, because they're going to be able to guide you. This is my life, guys. You're getting the inside scoop. They're going to be able to guide you in how you can solve those credit issues. Which things should you be paying off, in which order, what's important, what's not important. And a good loan officer is going to be willing to walk you through that process, whether that's going to take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. A good loan officer wants to help people, wants to get people into houses, and wants to help you. So, you know, if you're thinking about using like a credit repair service or something, really just go talk to somebody first and really see where you're at. Number two, engage a professional realtor. So once you've got pre-approved, you're going to want to start narrowing your search and narrowing your timeline. And a realtor is going to help you be able to do that. Squeaky toy. Hold on, please. Okay, the squeaky toy is put away. So a realtor is going to be able to help you sort of narrow down neighborhoods that have the amenities that you're looking for, or the style of houses that you're looking for. You're going to want to narrow down, how many bedrooms do I need? How many bathrooms do I need? Is a garage important? Is a fenced yard important? And really get it to a manageable size. And part of that is kind of making a mental checklist of what are my must-haves. Usually for people, that's going to be bedrooms, bathrooms, the big stuff. I need 3 bedrooms. I need 2 bathrooms. These are must-haves for me. Other stuff might be deal breakers. I don't want to live on a busy road. I'm not even going to look at a house that is on a busy road. And then a lot of stuff is going to kind of fall somewhere in between. So I find, things like maybe we'd really like a garage, 1 stall, 2 would be better, but that's going to be dependent on what we're finding out there. So really categorizing those things so that you can find what you're looking for and your realtor is best able to help you. Another first step that the realtor is usually going to take is setting you up on an automated search on the MLS. So they're going to take all those criteria you guys talked about and put it into a search. And you'll get notified each time a new listing matching that criteria becomes active on the MLS. The advantage to this is that it's going to be the most up-to-date information. Sometimes with those third-party sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, you're getting old information, incorrect information. And so if you're sending your realtor a house that got listed 5 days ago and it's still showing active on Zillow, sometimes it's gone on day 2 and it just hasn't updated yet. So that information from the MLS is going to be the most up to date. It's also going to give you access to a portal where all of the previously emailed listings will show. And if those listings are active, they'll be in the portal, and if they're not active, they'll be gone like that. So it's a really great tool. Sometimes people like to get set up on those before they're even really ready, just to kind of see what's out there and start that narrowing process. So that's also a possibility too. When you are looking for a realtor, you really want someone that is going to be able to explain the process to you in a way that makes sense to you, especially for your first time. There's a lot of questions that go into buying a house, and you want to make sure that you're comfortable asking those questions and that your realtor is making you feel comfortable at each step of the process. So someone that you kind of click with, you're going to be spending a lot of time looking at houses. You want it to be someone that you like, it should be fun. It should be a fun process looking for your first house. And you want that person who you feel like you click with, you enjoy spending time with, because you might be spending lots of time. Don't be afraid to ask for references when you're talking to realtors. Any realtor should be able to provide you with either just straight reviews from a site, testimonials, or possibly, if someone feels comfortable, even contact information for a past client that you could talk to. So don't be afraid to ask questions and to get into it to make sure that you're finding someone who's going to be the best fit for you. Timeline. So that's a big thing that I'm thinking about right now with 2019. So we always say, for whatever reason, the spring market starts the day after the Super Bowl, which of course is coming up. And that seems really early to most people because it's February and it's still cold in Minnesota. But that's how it works because there is that delay built in our industry. So if you had an accepted purchase agreement on a house today, it would still be 45 to 60 days. Benny, please. 45 to 60 days until you were able to close on that house. Benny, my goodness. This is why I don't do that. Come here. Come here. Get some love. He's gonna sit on my lap. This is what happens, people. He sits on my lap. Like a big baby. So 45 to 60 days, that's going to be just from the time you have that accepted agreement till you actually close and have the keys on the house. So that's a big chunk of time. Then on top of that, depending on your taste, how quickly you think you're ready to move on a house, and how fast the market is moving, oh my goodness, Benny. Please, Benny. That's going to determine how long it actually takes you to find a house. So I'd say on average for my clients, it's anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks. So if you're looking at that as a whole, that's 2.5 to 4 months from really truly beginning your search to actually having the keys to a house. So if you're thinking, I want to buy in spring 2019, we're basically there right now in the beginning of February. So you really do have to look at your timeline. What are your motivators? Is it a lease that's going to end? Are you living with family and you want to get out of that? What is motivating you and what's your timeline look like? And then really think about how far in advance you should start looking. I mean, there's also, you might want to factor in a few weeks for the pre-approval process. If you want to maybe interview a few lenders, that's going to be another extra few weeks. So you really do want to think ahead with that and look at your timeline. And the other thing is, it's really never too early to engage either a realtor or a loan officer. I've talked to people who are a year and a half out and just want to know what that next year and a half, what they should be doing, especially if they know that maybe they can qualify for a loan, but they want to qualify for more. So what should I be doing? What should I be looking at? It's never too early. A loan officer can absolutely advise you without pulling your credit to get that ding on it. They can absolutely look at your income, assets, and what you're looking towards and what you think your credit score is, and just kind of give you advice for how to move forward into the future. Like I said, I set up MLS searches for people pretty far in advance sometimes if they're interested in that. But I'm also just happy to talk, you know, about what it's going to look like to buy in a year. If you can take a first-time homebuyer seminar, that's always super helpful because you can ask questions, get more in depth. Do have one coming up with Minneapolis Community Education. It is waitlist only right now, but if you want to go check that out, usually a few people drop out, so you can get your name on that wait list. Otherwise, there's another one coming up in April with Minneapolis Community Education. So that will be, oh, I'm getting text. That will be up on the next cycle of classes there. But I always do one-on-ones with people. Amy Loftus and I will likely have another one in March in between that February and April that will be likely at a local library and not with Minneapolis Community Education. So those are just really helpful because you can actually get in front of people. But I would say the biggest thing is just don't let the process intimidate you. I talk to so many people who, you know, whether it's a 1 year or 5 year goal, they know that they want to get into a home, but it just feels like this insurmountable mountain and amount of things and confusing process. Just find your trusted advisors, take it step by step. It's really, at the end of the day, not as hard as you think it is. I've sold houses to many people who never thought that home ownership was possible for them. Down payment assistance for first-time home buyers is huge. You know, as my career has grown, not as much, but I would say in the beginning, first few years, 75% of the first-time home buyers I was working with were using down payment assistance to get into those homes, you know. There are different tools that we can use to get people into homes, but you've got to take that first step and actually start down the road. So if you have any questions about this, or you need a giant Great Dane who is annoying, he's up for grabs. No, I love him. But send me a DM or always text or call at 612-729-7239. Bye.